What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew. And with the Cats getting a win against the Power last week, we get a week off. But that said, the content is still coming thick and thin. And today, after making a whole bunch of finals predictions last week, I'm going to go back and reset the clock a little bit because some predictions I made last week worked out, others not so much. And so, with the new context, with the new scenarios, with the round of semifinals that are to come, I want to pick through and work out who we should be expecting to make it to the prelims and then go from there. So before we do that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist, established in Geelong since 1915. Visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au. That's Cook with an E. Give them a call on 035 222 2244 or mention the Hoops Crew to get yourself 20% off your next in-store purchase when you visit them at Shop 12, 11 Leather Street in Breakwater.
All right. Well, with that done, thank you very much, of course, to Cyril Cook Florist, our major sponsor. Let us get into predictions for week 2 of the finals. Let's bring it up. So, with week 1 out of the way, and to quickly recap what my predictions for last week were, I tipped the Swans. I tipped the Lions, just about as everyone did. I tipped the Dogs, got a big X there, and I tipped the Cats. Let's go back to quickly that one. Head said Port, heart said Cats, and then my gut, there was something in my gut that said the Cats, and so 2v1. We jumped on the Cats bandwagon. The bias kicked in. The Cats smashed the Power by 84 points. So get out of here, mate. Let's not stop thinking with my head. Let's get to the heart. All right. So that leaves us, of course, with the Swans and the Cats awaiting winners from this week. So semifinals. Let's get into some of these predictions. We only have 2 matchups, and I do want to pick through a little bit of what we should expect from both of these games. Now, the first one, Saturday, September 14th, 7:30 at Energy Stadium. It's the GWS Giants who will be smarting off a really unfortunate loss to the Swans. They were the better team all day, and then Isaac Heaney and Tom Papley and co all just started to pile in. Well, Heaney was brilliant all game, but the rest all started to pile in at the end, and there was just it wasn't the orange tsunami that they like. There was a tsunami of Swans that came pouring in over the top, and they wrestled the win back. Joel Amati, who'd been absolute trash all day, popped up at the end, and sometimes you just need to, there's the old saying about you don't need to be, like, you can't always have the best possible day, but you can be there and have your moment. And Joel Amati had his moment, took the win for the Swans. All right, the Giants have to rebound this week, whilst the Lions, coming off the back of, they completely obliterated the Blues in the first half, put the Q in the rack in the second, and I'm a bit worried for the Lions as a result because, form can wander. Form can wander a little bit, and you don't want to flirt with your form, and they did that. What I really appreciate about what the Cats did on the weekend is that they put the foot on Port's throat and they just kept squeezing. You don't want to flirt with your form. The Lions did that. They already are pretty wobbly kickers. But I say all of this, and I've got that gut feeling again. Head says the Giants. I don't have a heart component to this particular pick, but my gut says the Lions, and I don't there is no logical reason for this. The GWS Giants have proven themselves time after time to be the better team, and I'm really unfortunate to not be hosting a prelim themselves. The standard that the Giants and the Swans played at on Saturday was better than pretty much any other team of the week. You can make the argument for Geelong because we buried an opponent, but we also had a pretty listless opponent that we were playing against in the end. So it's a bit hard to get that read. The Giants should win this. They should. They absolutely should. But for some reason, and when it comes to this, I'm going to go with whatever the gut says. For some reason, I just think the Lions are going to get done. And I don't know why. I expect the Giants, but I predict the Lions. Moving on to the other matchup, it's straight sets for Port. The Hawks will, I don't rate the Hawks. I continue to say I don't rate the Hawks. They caught the Dogs having a miserable week. Good time for it. They caught the Dogs having a miserable week, and they smacked them around. But Port are in a bad place off the back of that loss. After going into the finals in so much form, it felt like they were. I mean, again, my head said Port going into week 1, but for some reason they didn't. They couldn't fire a shot, and Jason Horne-Francis couldn't carry them on his own, which he was being forced to do. Now you expect them to clap back, but this Hawks team just has a momentum that is. I hate the Hawks, but it is such an appealing vibe that club has at the moment, and I could easily see them come through and get smacked around by Port because Port are absolutely the better team. But the energy from Port needs to be substantially different for the result to be any different this week. Otherwise, I think the Hawks will get them. Port barely beat the Hawks earlier in the year, and the Hawks weren't playing the football that they are now. So I'm going to go with the Hawks. Don't know. Sorry, guys. Going to go with the Hawks. Now, because I'm going to continue to have these rolling predictions videos, we're going to take that. We're going to roll into next week of finals. And it leaves, I think, for me now, very clear-cut finals at this particular point. Geelong to get the points against the Lions. The Swans to get the points against the Hawks. And somehow, as a result, we end up with a Cats v Swans 2022 grand final. Now, I did predict this when I did the predictions for last week, but I was kind of unsure about what was going to happen when it came to the Cats versus the Power. And I was, coming to that conclusion in the event that we hypothetically got over the line. Well, now we did, and we're up and about. And so we go potentially take on the Lions, if I'm right about everything, of course. If I'm right about what happens in the semis, we take on the Lions. The Swans take on the Hawks. The Swans will completely outclass them. They're a level above. And the Cats are a level above the Lions right now. And so we're talking about a 2022 grand final replay, which is a really enticing, exciting, and attractive prospect. I'm all about it. It's super intriguing to me. But now the bias creeps in. Cats are the 2024 premiers. This will only change when the Cats get knocked out at this particular point, I think. We know how to get it done. And the Swans, to be perfectly frank, sorry, Swanee supporters, but you've lost your 3 last grand finals, like the 3 most recent grand finals. No good. And that's not a great sign. The Cats know how to get it done. They proved it in 2022. They've done it in 7, 9, 11. They had 1 blemish in 08. They had 1 blemish in 2020. Put a star next to it. The Cats are there's baggage that the Swans will carry if they find themselves in a grand final against the Cats. And Jeremy Cameron's going to put on an absolute clinic. And he didn't do that in the 2022 grand final. But Jeremy Cameron will put on a clinic. That's where we'll wrap things up for this latest predictions episode. Stay tuned next week where I do another one based on whatever the results happen to be. Look, like I said, I don't have any genuine, rational reasons why I think the Lions will beat the Giants. It's just a gut feel. It's just a gut feel I can't shake. And so I'm going to go with that. The Hawks, well, they shouldn't win. But if the Porters mentally battered and bruised and fragile as they've kind of demonstrated last week, then the Hawks will get up. And so we're talking about some really intriguing prelim finals. Let me know in the comments what you think about all the various predictions that I've made here. You can see them on screen right now. There's a summary of all of it. Let me know who you think is going to get through the semis this week, who plays in the prelims against the Cats and the Swans, how do things proceed from there. I'll see you next week for another one of these predictions episodes for the prelims and the grand final. And as always, of course, thank you very much for watching. Check out our Patreon. You can get exclusive access to a whole range of awesome content there, free for a week. And then for the cost of $5 to $6 for the month, you can continue to stick around and get the cool exclusive content, early access content, extended content, all delivered to your inbox. Go check all of it out. You can find me at Paul James Games on socials, the team at the Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong. I'll see you later.